Okay.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
Wonderful. Good, thank you. It was great to get another win in a rivalry game, and really proud of our players and coaches. It means a lot when you win your in-state rivalry, and to do it 3 straight, 9 of the last 11 is very meaningful for our guys and for our program. Very happy for our seniors, for them to get that win, and proud of how the guys battled and made some really marquee plays in key moments. When we needed to make a play, whether it was offense, defense, or special teams, guys rose to the occasion. And Reggie playing the way he did, Jacoby Myers with the acrobatic catch there on a 3rd and 5, making a really good back catch, ball behind him. Kelvin making plays, offensive line just battling and grinding and being the more physical group, I thought, in the 4th quarter. And then in overtime to have 6 runs consecutively to go down and score was awesome for our kids. Overall, just we were 4-4 in the red zone, 100% touchdown. So I think that's an area we've improved. And on defense, they were down there 5 times and only got 2 touchdowns. And our 3rd down defense, they were only 25%. And so a lot of positive things. I thought Ryan had a really good second half. Struggled early. Special teams wise, I thought they were very good in their return units, and we were able to pressure their punter, get a blocked punt, which is a big momentum play. I thought Stephen Morrison and Brady Bodine really stood out on our kickoff coverage units and had several tackles inside their 25. And we had some kids, that are banged up, battle through and just play their butts off. And I thought Roseboro really did a nice job, playing with a bad ankle, and Tyrone Prescott, the same thing. And it just means a lot to those guys to play for their teammates and play for each other. And so hopefully we can get a few guys back. Obviously you guys know that 3 of our players were suspended for a half, and all 3 of them I've spoken with, and they understand, what's acceptable and what isn't, and what our standards are in our program. And, I thought the conference made it pretty black and white. If you threw a punch during the game, then you would have been kicked out, and that's the same punishment for doing it after the game. So our guys know they can't do that. They'll learn from it. We'll use it as a teachable moment and move forward. Moving on to ECU. Last game in Carter Finley for our senior class, and asking our fans and students to be here to support them. What they've done programmatically to help our program deserves that. And they've won more ACC games in the last 2 years than any team in our conference but Clemson. And so they've done a really good job helping us build this program. And this will be our 5th straight bowl game with this senior class. And so I would love to see an incredible fan support, a bunch of people out there cheering their butts off for a bunch of guys that play their butts off for you. And so asking for that, and our students to be rowdy as ever. Chance to play an in-state game, and a game that obviously is a game that was scheduled due to the hurricane, and so there is some relief going back to that, which is great from the game ops. ECU, offensively, I think Holton Ahlers is a really good football player, their quarterback. I'm really impressed with him, and was in high school too. I recruited him and think a lot of him. I think he's tough and gritty. They have a receiver that's a 1,000-yard receiver, Brown, and I think Tony Peterson, their offense coordinator, is very creative with what he does. There's a lot of formations, a lot of motions, bunches and stacks, and a lot of good things that they do formationally. Defensively, they play hard. They're not very big, but they're fast and quick, and they got a defensive end, Harvey, that is a force. 24 tackles for loss and 13.5 sacks, which is really, really impressive on the edge of their defense. And they've had 97 TFLs and 33 sacks this season, so they've made a lot of plays in people's backfields. So for us, it's about finishing for our seniors and playing better than we did a week ago, and with that same effort. And all week practice will be the same as it's been, just trying to help these guys get healthy and also focus on their fundamentals and techniques so that they can play fast and physical on Saturday. Questions?
So, Coach, with the
of 2 starters, how do you think that will affect your team?
Well, it's not ideal. Obviously, losing your left tackle and right tackle, not ideal. But, we'll find a way, and fortunately they're allowing me to split the suspensions up if I want to, so it may be a first half, second half deal. And we don't have great depth there, but I know our guys will, staff-wise, put together a good plan, and it's the next man up opportunity for somebody.
Yes.
Good question.
Curious on 2 fronts. How much will you talk about the 2016 game you played against them, which was a difficult loss? And how much will you talk about this is likely the last time you'll have this group as we know it, given the way bowl games go and draft protection goes? How much will you talk about those 2 topics, do you think, with your players?
It's already come up about the last time we played them. Our guys, a lot of them were in that game, and so that's already been brought up, not just by me but by them. But the most of our talk's going to be about our seniors, and we'll see where it goes after that. But I mean, it's all our focus is on beating ECU and playing as good as we can play. The fact that we didn't play well there last time, I think, resonates with our guys. But that's not how we'll win the game. It's just a conversation. We need to not beat ourselves, and that's really what we did down there last time. We had 13 penalties and a bunch of turnovers, and just didn't play good football. And last 2 weeks have been a lot better, in those areas. So we'll build on it.
With the bowl stuff, obviously you went through this last year with Bradley. Does it change the dynamic at all, having been through that last year?
Yeah.
Perhaps knowing that Cullen doesn't play in the bowl game, or that Ryan doesn't play in the bowl game.
Well, we'll have that conversation when we get to the bowl. I mean, last year was a little different when you're playing in, a bowl game, and Bradley's going to be a top 5 pick. BJ Hill played in the bowl game, so every other senior played in the bowl game. So we'll see. It'll be a conversation we'll have, and we're not there yet.
Now that you've had a chance to kind of look back, I mean, obviously we don't know the status at this point of Jermaine Pratt playing in this game coming up, but with the performance that you got for Brock Miller, how happy were you to see his type of performance he put together?
I was really proud of Brock, excited for him, and to see him cut it loose and make all those plays in space. I mean, it really showed some athletic ability that we knew he had, and for him to get that stage and to take advantage of it, I just thought it was awesome for him. And I think that boosts his confidence for when he is out there, and whether he's out there in this game or the next one, I know that he's going to seize the moment, and that's all you can ask for from a young man. So just really proud of him.
Coach, is there any concern at all with all of the energy that you guys had to expunge in the North Carolina game, of your guys having any letdown at all this week, with it being a game that was scheduled and at an odd time of the year? And the second part of that question is, what other motivation do you have outside of it being the last game for your seniors?
It's their last time playing together in Carter Finley Stadium. I mean, what else do you need? Really. I mean, and we are beat up, but we were beat up the last 4 games, so our guys will find a way. And, I don't know. I don't see letdown in our program, man. I don't see that. I mean, we're going to rally, we're going to fight, we're going to scrap, we're going to motivate, and our guys will be ready Saturday.
Talking about finding a way, how proud are you of the way this team rebounded from what happened 2 weeks ago, and what do you attribute that to?
I think we handled it the right way. I thought our leadership, went in the room and just said, hey, here's what I did wrong, and I'm asking you to do the same, and then let's move on from it and not let it happen again. And got back to the basics of football, and I thought our guys bought into that. So, sometimes you have to go through those kind of moments, and nobody likes them, but you're going to use it as a teaching opportunity as a coach, and I think we did that. I think our players are better for it, and hopefully it'll help us moving forward.
This game feel almost like a second chance, and senior night
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I didn't even, you know, it was senior night, so the thing out there with the parents was awesome. But I didn't build it up within the building like I will this one, just because it wasn't, for me, the last time coaching them in Carter Finley Stadium. And I told the guys that during the week. I mean, it was, like I said before, we couldn't change the date because so many people had travel plans already. But this is going to be different from a staff standpoint, for sure.
You seem to have changed your policy this year about talking about injuries. Did something happen that led you to that, or is it
No,
just
I just
that
don't
there's
have
no
to,
rule?
so I'm not going to.
So if there was a rule, like
Yeah.
previously there was you had to disclose.
Yeah, I guess you could say it was disclosed.
Yeah.
But you never knew if it was real or not. There was no penalty if it wasn't.
Right.
I mean, I can tell you half the stuff we read about who was playing was never true. You know.
In terms of the opponent?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, it wasn't an enforced policy. It was just you had to report stuff, right?
Right. So now
I'm not going to talk about it.
that's more of your
Yeah.
frustration with everyone else?
No, I just don't think you should have a policy that's not where everyone has to do it. I mean, what's the point
Yeah. Well, injuries are easy to talk about, though.
for you?
For anyone.
Yeah.
You know.
We got any other questions?
Yes, would you speak to the 11-5 ACC record over the last few years and how that equates into improvement, dramatic improvement of the program?
Yeah, I didn't know that until someone said it last week. Since 2016, when we won at Carolina, I guess we've won more ACC games than anyone in the league except Clemson. And so I told our staff the other day, it's times you don't feel like you're doing very good. You know, like even when you win, you turn the film on, you're like, God, we got to play better. You know, but we've done some great things. You know, and I think that's the beauty of it with our guys is they know they can even do better. And so the last 2 seasons have been very productive here. Accomplished a lot and want to accomplish a lot more. And we're not satisfied, but we like the results that we're getting. And you always want to improve upon where you're at. And I think to be in that position, it's just continuing to have upward trends in your program, and that's very visible. You look at how many players were drafted, you look at how many games we've won in the league. I think today the ACC all-conference team comes out, and we're going to be very well represented on that. And so again, it's just continuing to show and not just talk about the fact that you're getting better.
Focus is on the seniors, obviously, for this game, but does bowl positioning enter into this even a little bit?
Well, it's one of the reasons I wanted a 12th game. I just think if we were 8-3 and someone else was 9-3, that could hurt us. And so having an opportunity to get to 9-3, I just think a 9-win team, gives you a little bit more than an 8-win team when it comes down to a tiebreaker for who they might take in a bowl game. And I wanted our players to have another opportunity, to elevate their status as a program. And winning 9 games at NC State is not something that's done all the time, and to be able to have back-to-back 9-win teams, maybe 10 if we can win out. And there's a lot to that for the history of this program, and I wanted those kids to have every opportunity to reach those goals.
Yeah, to piggyback off that question, you talked about back-to-back 9-win seasons, but a 10-win season in this program hasn't happened since 2002, I believe.
Yeah, it's never happened. It's been an 11-win team. It's never been a 10-win team. Yeah.
Is that something that you have talked about at all with your team this year to help motivate them?
Early in the season, it came up, and somewhere in the middle of the season, it came up. But this team, I talked about it the last couple of weeks. They operate better on how do you win, not here's what happens when you win. And I think that's where our mindset's been. They know, they can count how many are left and what it can mean. But that doesn't win games. Our fundamentals and our technique and our execution is where our mindset is right now.
How great has C.J. Riley been on special teams?
He's been outstanding. I mean, back to when Dravius Wright was here, that's probably the only other player we've had that's had that impact that he's having right now. Yeah, and if he made 2 tackles that he's missed, he would have been phenomenal. I mean, the blocking a punt, he's down there on the punt coverage, down in punts last week. Yeah, he's doing an incredible job on our coverage teams.
one final question for you, Coach, kind of off the wall, but the report has come out that Matt Brown will be returning to North Carolina. I'm just curious to know what you know about Brown through your coaching circles and your coaching tree, and what type of competition he'll bring to in-state recruiting here in the state of North Carolina.
When I was at Kansas, he was at Texas, and I've known Mac a long time. I respect him. I think he's a really good person, a good coach. So I've competed against him. You know, when you're at Kansas recruiting against Texas, it's not really competition, I guess you'd say. They kind of selected who they wanted there. So I look forward to competing against him, you know, and we'll see where it goes. But, I mean, he's a very good person. He's done a great job in his career, and, you know, like every team that you play against, you look forward to competing against them and their staff.
Are you content with where you're at right now?
I'm never content. Never. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.